you've got this option. You've got a cabinet. This is where the portion of the show where people might hate us. Uh,
Mm,
um,
yeah. Oh well.
oh well. Opinions, right? Everyone's got one.
Mm, we
Um,
have them.
we have them. So here you've got, and this is I'm gonna couch this by saying you personally, Jared,
Right.
because that's I'm not gonna put the theoretical. If you're this kind of gamer, you've got
No.
one option where you're going to have well over 100 pinball tables available to you to play natively on your machine,
Mm-hmm.
and then you've got this other one that's going to have 10.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you land? Are you happy
Given that you can.
with a whole mess of Zacharia and Gottlieb tables, or would you be happier with some 10 Zen originals, or would you be happy with 10 Bally Williams?
That's a really tricky question. Now, I've got all of these tables all in Steam,
As do I.
as we both do. So it really does come down to form factor, product inclusions, etc. Now, for a similar price, I can get both cabinets. You'd say that's correct, hey, Chris?
What do you
It's
mean
about
for
for a
similar?
similar price, I can get the hardware. So
Yes.
based on that, at games.
You're going to go the iGames route.
Hmm. Because you can connect your PC to it and play, with a less experience probably than you could play, like on the arcade one up cabinets. But
Hmm.
still, it's a bigger screen, and there are hints that the guys at AtGames are going to be like doing this connected ecosystem thing. So, if I was a betting man, I'd probably say that AtGames has the hardware and the price point that, putting my extensibility hat on, that in the future, your future is unwritten, but it all seems to be leaning towards the community being able to make the Zen experience work pretty well on it. Whether officially or not, I think that's what's going to be happening with this product.
Okay.
Mm.
So
And I
that's
mean, look at the prices.
chalk one up for Jared.
Oh,
Um,
well, I just look at the price. Like if I was going to have to spend $1,300 on a cabinet,
hmm
I'd spend it on the at game ones
hmm
because I buy it once and I can potentially extend its life and its usability, by putting other games on and connecting my PC to it to literally play anything. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So there's Jared's perspective on why he would choose the Legends Pinball over either of
Okay.
the either of the
Okay, one
arcade
up.
one up cabs. My perspective. I have this. I
Mm.
have my PC with all these games, and I can rotate my monitor into horizontal. I've got a second monitor for my screen, for my back glass right here. So I can play these things that way.
Mm.
I'm already configured that way. Would I buy a PC and have it right next to the AtGames machine, to do and then to plug in? Well,
Hmm.
my question is, how are you going to get that second monitor running? I assume you're going to have to crack open the back of the cabinet and hack into that second monitor with another HDMI.
I've got a feeling that, no, again, the future has not been written,
Mhm.
but I think that
I'm
at
talking
games
about
are
with
well
what you're purchasing right now.
right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's no way of getting that second monitor working with the current hardware that's inside that machine.
correct.
Yeah,
There's also no way of getting it to react to Rumble or accelerometer for any
correct.
of the Zen games. I can
That's
do that.
true. You.
I can do that on my cabinet. So I've already
Mm.
got that aspect of things covered. So to
Hmm.
me, it comes around to then again you are dealing with form factor of the two cabs, um, a 3/4 size versus a virtually full size
Nearly full size.
cab,
Yeah.
and then what games are being included on it. If I'm looking exclusively at the Williams stuff, so the Attack from Mars table, I will take that every single time over the 120 some tables that are going to be available on AtGames. Reason being, how often do you play Zaccaria Pinball or Pinball Arcade?
I don't play Pinball Arcade at all, particularly the godly ones.
Yeah.
And I don't play the Zaccaria Pinball titles that much because I'm missing some of the collection. I don't have unlock keys for them, and I tend not to gravitate to them.
Yeah. The only ones that I don't have unlocked for me are the deluxe tables. But the amount of times I open up Zaccaria, just like me sitting down and going, yeah, I feel like playing Zaccaria Pinball. It doesn't happen. The only time I ever open up Pinball Arcade is either to compare it to what Zen has done on a Bally Williams table, or the occasional time where I'm like, man, I really want to play Addams Family, and so then I'll open that up. But we're talking slim the amount of times I do that.
Yes.
And I jokingly said to Jared one time, I said, look, I would rather have 3 or 4 really high quality Transformer toys than the entire run of GoBots.
Yeah. And look, there is like I've the only reason why I'm making my claim about what I choose is because of the information they're releasing about this open and connected pinball platform stuff. Like, to me, as a betting man, I think that with that, and even if you had to pay $200 to $300 to get a special board that just opens up everything, and for example, turns the sensors and the haptic feedback that's already in the cabinet, and makes it accessible to games on Steam like FX3, like Pinball Wicked, for example. As a betting man, I'm looking at that going, that's worth the risk to have that in the future. And like the stuff that AtGames announces and stuff like that, from what I've seen in the community, they follow through on it. So this isn't just one of those vaporware things that they're announcing. It's actually something they got planned out. So from my perspective, given the exchange rate and the cost and everything like that, I don't have the luxury of just buying one Bally Williams cabinet from Arcade 1-Up and being satisfied with that when I have all those tables on Steam. And it's the difference, isn't it, right? It's the difference between what is essentially an impulse buy and something you really have to think about,
right?
With money on hand.
And
that's
truth
the only
be told,
reason why I'm like that.
I'm going to still be very curious to put hands on the Arcade 1-Up cab and see for myself how it feels. Because if the experience is less than me playing on that on my PC, that will be very disappointing. From what I can tell, the experience is supposed to be better. And that's what I'm hoping for, is that with those solenoids popping and with that custom view angle on it and having the DMD where it belongs, I'm really, and with the accelerometers and everything, I'm really hoping for that premium experience.
That really immersive pinball experience. And look, I'll put on record saying that I also hope for this as well.
Yeah.
With this product. Like, the Arcade 1-Up product is, like, you put all of the positives that AtGames has from what the hardware is and what they're trying to do with the platform, and you put that like in the same sort of line as like all the things on the Arcade 1-Up line. And the only real differentiating point between those two products for me is the experience. And that's really what it comes down to. That's what your money is buying on these things. How does it feel when you walk up to it and you want to actually interact with the product and play it?
Now,
so
if we're talking
buying experience really is what you're buying with these two products.
Right. Now, if we're talking about the Zen Originals, the Star Wars cab or the Marvel cab, I'm not happy with the tables that are on this Star Wars cab.
No,
I'm not happy with the table selection at all. Those are literally some of my least played Zen tables out there. I play those almost as much as I play Zaccaria Pinball. So, if I'm deciding between Star Wars and AtGames, yeah, I'll pay to skin that cabinet into a Star Wars form factor, which is the what I like about the arcade one-up machine, and
It looks good.
it looks good. And then I'll deal with the games that I can get on that. The Marvel cab, I like a lot of those. I like a lot of those a lot. And
I had a lot
Marvel
of fun with
would look cool.
Iron Man the other day. Like I started like experimenting with a few of the Marvel tables just to sort of see.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good stuff on
Unfortunately,
there.
Iron Man is not on that cab.
No, but sorry, Spider-Man. I think was the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's you need to read the rules. As I said in a couple episodes ago, you need to understand how to play the tables. Once you do, you can have a lot of fun on them. Like there's nothing wrong with those tables.
So the Marvel cab would be there's where I'm like, ooh, again, if the experience is what I'm hoping for, I think that would be the tipping factor for me.
See, Marvel with all of the physics in place,
Yeah.
count me in. Like that would change it really, really quite a lot.
I do like the smaller form factor, so long as I'm not crouched over and leaning over. I don't think that's going to be the case.
Because Mel's not exactly short, from what I understand.
And truth be told, so this cabinet here is standard pinball height, because I measured it to my tables that I have outside in the garage. Even if this was down 2 inches, which I have a feeling that's what it's going to be, that's still more than playable. You're not basically it's instead of having your hands up high with you, your arms are extended down a little bit lower, but you can still be straight up and down. Now, if I felt like gutting the AtGames, or if my purpose of buying, let's say, the arcade one-up one was to gut it and put my own PC in, then no way, get the AtGames. There's no reason to do that to an arcade one-up cab. And if that
really not.
Yeah, and if that was just plain my intention in general, that I'm using this purely for the monitor and
A shell.
as a shell, and I'm going to slap a PC inside of this thing, then I do think the AtGames is the better option there.
Yep.
At least it makes more sense.
What you need.
Yes.
It's just got more of what you need up front in it to actually mod it.
Yeah. So, I don't know, folks. What do you think? Are we making sense, or we've been getting a lot of messages about how we're rather biased, and I'm trying to explain where that bias comes from. For me, it comes down to what I actually play. That's the key number one factor.
And for me, it's just literally guessing, because I have no real way of touching any of these products down here in Australia. So,